Okay, I'm actually happy to talk about this today. This is one of my favorite music videos. For a few reasons, but I wonder if you guys have seen this music video. If you haven't, I encourage you to watch it, but as you watch it, um think a little bit more about art history and the cultural significance of the video. I think there are a lot of people who watched it and actually don't understand what they're watching, so we're going to explain that today. The cultural significance of apeshit in the Louvre. The Louvre is not just a museum, it's the most visited museum in the world, and arguably the most powerful symbol of Western art history. Home to works like the Mona Lisa, the Venus de Milo, and the Winged Victory of Samothrace. I think that's how you say that. The Louvre is a monument to European cultural supremacy and centuries of artistic canon making. It is also a place historically inaccessible to Black artists who were either excluded from its walls or depicted only as servants, slaves, or exoticized figures on the margins of white nobility's portraits. For Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, to film apeshit in the Louvre is not just flex, a flex of wealth or influence, it's a cultural reclamation. They place themselves inside the heart of Western civilization's most guarded temple of art, declaring themselves not only worthy of inclusion, but central to the definition of beauty, art, and power. They are not visitors, they are the art. One of the opening shots shows Beyonce and Jay-Z standing in front of the Mona Lisa. For centuries, Da Vinci's painting has been upheld as the pinnacle of female beauty and mastery. And mystery. Yet, Beyonce, dressed in pastel silk with her regal posture and commanding presence, dwarfs the painting. The juxtaposition suggests that she herself is the living masterpiece, far surpassing the faded icon on the wall. In doing so, the Carters subtly critique Eurocentric beauty standards and insert Black excellence into the canon. There is also a racial undertone to this placement. Eugenics and race science once depicted Black people as biologically inferior, often degrading them by comparing them to monkeys. By standing confidently in front of the most revered symbol of human artistic achievement, the Carters mock those ideas. They show that Blackness is not a deviation from humanity's peak. It is the peak. The imagery of Black women dancers throughout the video reinforces this point. The women appear in different shades of brown skin, their bodies forming symmetrical lines, curves, and shapes that mimic classical sculpture. Instead of being objectified or marginalized, their beauty becomes the palette of the museum itself. They are no longer outside the frame. They are the frame. One of the most striking tableaux is staged beneath Jacques Louis David's coronation of Napoleon. This enormous painting glorifies imperial France, depicting Napoleon crowning himself emperor with the Pope as a witness. In front of this backdrop, Beyonce leads her dancers in nude-toned bodysuits, reclaiming the stage from an image of European conquest. Her presence inverts the power dynamic. Where Napoleon once symbolized dominion, Beyonce now embodies sovereignty. Sorry. Another powerful sequence takes place under the winged victory of Samothrace. This Hellenistic sculpture is a monument to triumph, frozen in marble, armless yet eternally victorious. Beyonce, clad in flowing white, kneels at its base before rising like a living counterpart. The symbolism is unmistakable. She is the continuation of victory, a new embodiment of timeless grace and power. The video also lingers on works like David's The Intervention and The Intervention of the Sabine Woman and The Raft of the Medusa. These paintings about violence, chaos, and survival and their inclusion emphasizes the struggles of history. When juxtaposed with black bodies in control of the space, the Carters remind viewers of slavery, colonialism, and exclusion, but also of resilience and triumph over those narratives. Another close up features a figure from, I think this is Jerry Colt's The Raft of the Medusa, a painting historically important because it depicted a shipwreck where the sole black figure is placed at the apex of the composition, symbolizing hope. The Carters elevate this choice, aligning themselves with that black figure who also rose above catastrophe. The symbolism is layered. They too are the survivors who have become symbols of possibility. Color palettes in the video are deeply intentional. The dancers' nude bodysuits reflect skin tones from the lightest beige to the deepest brown, forming a visual spectrum of blackness. Against the polished wooden floors and gold-framed canvases, the dancers' movements create a living mural. Their bodies are presented as art, not in opposition to the museum's paintings, but in conversation with them, equal in weight and beauty. The choreography is equally critical. The dancers move in precise formations, echoing both classical poses and contemporary black dance traditions. Their synchronization mirrors the symmetry of neoclassical art, while the energy carries the improvisational spirit of the African diasporic culture. It is a blending of histories, a reminder that Black expression belongs with the grand narrative of art. The apeshit video also critiques access. For centuries, the Louvre was the preserve of kings and aristocrats. Later, it became a tourist mecca, but still, most visitors move through it reverentially, quietly, never questioning its hierarchy. The Carters disrupt that reverence. They dance, rap, and dominate the galleries. They don't whisper before the Mona Lisa, they rap in front of it. Their joy and defiance are political acts. Ultimately, apeshit is about Black abundance. The wealth it took to rent the Louvre is secondary to the cultural power of the gesture. Two of the most famous Black artists alive today, declaring that their lives, their beauty, their bodies, their art deserve to stand at the center of civilization's most sacred halls. They are not content to be consumers of culture. They are producers of a new canon. The Louvre video is thus a manifesto. It redefines art history by insisting on the centrality of Blackness within it. It ridicules the pseudoscience of race that once denied Black humanity. It turns Eurocentric standards upside down by declaring Beyonce the art above all art, and it stages the global reminder history belongs not only to those who painted it, but also to those who reclaim it, reframe it, and demand their rightful place inside the frame. If you haven't seen the video, hopefully this is your gentle nudge to take a look.